we've had some pretty good mentors through this as well. The investors in the company they've had some successful restaurant chains and stuff. And one of the greater pieces of advice that I heard recently was, a guy who runs a really successful restaurant, and we were just talking about how do you do this in this market. And he says, well, I swing for averages. I swing for singles and doubles. I don't swing for home runs every time I step up to the plate. And I think that's really true. You have to really, I think our program is a home run, but you can't expect a home run with every single thing you do. And you just have to learn, like we're talking about adjusting and tracking. And, I think that was a pretty profound tiny little bit of advice that has really kind of affected what we do. And really, there's nothing like when we're at the racetrack and we look around at hundreds of customers who are there, their families are standing on the sidelines, and like him and I just look at each other and kind of smile, and it's like, there goes our fleet of supercars flying down a racetrack, and it's a beautiful, Sunday in the middle of Indiana on a racetrack, the sun is shining, and it's just like, all right, I think this is pretty great. Or we were just in the mountains of Colorado last weekend, and we're looking at Pikes Peak from the racetrack, and it's like, this is pretty cool,
So in the luxury car rental business, there's a lot of, I've spoken to a few people who all say, investors are a critical part of their business, because obviously they have to take on such immense fleets at time to be able to, kind of provide what the customers want. And you guys just brought up the 458 Italia, which, by no means even to this day used as like $250,000. Can you speak a little bit about what is the best way to make the relationship work with investors in a business? Ultimately, like from you guys' perspective, how has that relationship gone forward ultimately, and what have been some of the positives or challenges that have come out of, having ultimately people who are in the industry or not in the industry but backing you?
Well, I think that what has made our relationship great, and the fact that it is a great relationship, and there are very few negatives, if any, to it, are the fact that we came in with the idea, and I said, look, in a way, I'm doing it whether you like it or not. I think together we can make it even bigger and better, but I'm not going to lean on you in the perspective that you should be worried about it. I'm not going to make mistakes assuming that they'll be taken care of because we can throw money at them. What I'm going to do is build this business. What you're going to do is you're going to come in and help me take it to the next level, go big or go home sort of thing. And the fun part about people not being in the automotive industry is that they can share opinions as customers, they can share opinions as outsiders and consultants, but they don't try to get their hands too far into what we're trying to do. And I just go out there, I come back with great ideas, invite them every once in a while, and they say, hey, have you thought about this? And I say, you're right, I might have missed that as a customer. That's a great perspective. And I go and I implement that. And because of that, they're not sitting there worried going, is he doing the right thing? Because I'm asking to learn, I want to learn, and I'm proving that we were going to do it, we're just doing it together, and it's bigger because of that.
And it seems to be a very fine relationship because, money seems to be a very emotional thing for people. So do you have any tips for people listening as to what are some critical parts of managing that relationship? Is there anything in particular you do as an owner that enables you to maintain and continue to foster that relationship rather than, especially I'm sure issues come up from time to time. Like, are there any tips you can share about best ways to handle investors when dealing with your own business?
Prove to them that you're going to work hard to make that deal profitable. Prove to them that you respect their money like it's your money, and pay it back as soon as you can, because that way, you know what? Nobody's holding any strings. If I borrow money from an investor, I pay it back as soon as I can, because I want to be ready for the next time but not be digging a deeper hole.
And since you both are under 30 years of age and now running a $1 million company, can you tell us a little bit about your personal growth and journey as entrepreneurs? Like, what are some of the biggest changes you've had to make ultimately in yourselves, to be able to support and continue to grow this business?
Well, let's see. one of the first most obvious things is, the amount of work you have to do. You have to put a lot of work into, nothing happens overnight. You see all these success stories, and sometimes people just have this idea that, oh wow, like a light switch, this person made $1 million. That doesn't happen. You have to put in the work and dedicate your weekends sometimes. That can sometimes strain your relationship with your girlfriend or your whatever that might be. That can be a bit tough.
Because do not hire them ever.
But what else? I mean, really, I think for him more so, and for me, realizing, oh wow, this is ours to build. Like whatever you want, you have to strive to be the company you want it. You can't just kind of you can't just toe the waters and just keep doing what you're doing. You have to think about who you want your company to be. What does your office look like in the future? What does the car fleet look like? What does our offering look like? Picture like the McLaren racing team. They are just everything. It's so perfectly branded and put together. If we want to be the best, we have to strive to be the best. We have to, from day one, we've got to try to be the best. So I think that's been important. How about you?
I agree. I think the toughest thing for me is kind of been learning how to let go, if that makes sense. Yes, you can get a lot instantly, and you could let that go to your head, and you could run with it, and you could disappear, or you could take it and you could reinvest it and let it go and believe in what you're building, because at the end of the road, you have exactly what Joe was just talking about. My challenge has been learning how to let go. You make your first X amount of money and you want to go buy a car and a watch and a wedding ring, and you're like, that was great, but I didn't build anything. I was rich, I wasn't wealthy. If you want to be wealthy, you need to learn how to let go and build to the point where it keeps building and compounding upon itself. And that's kind of the thing I've watched to learn. I love making 250 grand, and then I put it in the company and buy another Lamborghini, and I got to watch other people drive around the track. But I know every time it goes around, it's making us another 250 grand. So learning how to let go, learning how to sleep at night, it's been fun and been challenging, but I know that we're building. And like I said, failure is not an option in this house, and so that's what we do.